Whoa, what's good with your YouTube and YouTube busted? Your boy Triple Cup Chuck and I'm up. And appreciate you for coming rock with me, like, sharing, and subscribing. And if you have an opinion about the situation that's going on, leave a comment below. I'm gonna read it. Because when you comment, our collective minds put together, we bring synergy. This how we starting the video off? Whoa, what's good with you, Yang Gang? It's your boy Triple Cup Chuck and I'm up. And I just finished watching Hot 97's interview with Andrew Yang. We about to find out, was it a flop or a success with the black community? We about to go diving. Let's do this.
Double cup, feel it right. Told Chuck, I feel like every night is all night. I'm up. Double cup, feel it right. Told Chuck, I feel like every night is all night. I'm up. Double cup, feel it right. Told Chuck, I feel like every night is all night. I'm up. Double cup, feel it right. Told Chuck, I feel like every night is all night.
Hey, for everybody that came out to check out my video, man, appreciate it. I know I said in the introductions, but I can't say it enough because it wouldn't be no Triple Cup Chuck without you. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, though, let's go ahead and get into this Andrew Yang on Hot 97. The interview, it had its good, it had its bad, it had a little bit of intensity that went on at the same exact time. But overall, we're going to go diving how I feel about where do this reach the black community and how, especially in New York City. New York, y'all remember that commercial when they were talking about, I think it was hot sauce or barbecue sauce from Texas. But anyway, though, that's neither here or there. But we finna get straight into this here. First thing that I want to bring to everybody's attention is when they was asking Andrew Yang about the UBI, and Andrew Yang brought this perfect example of how he coming out of his own pocket to paying people $1,000 a month instead of using this $1 million, that which I fully agree with Andrew Yang. Instead of taking this money and using it for advertisement, he's spending it where it's more needed at, and it's giving him the same thing, advertisement. So why not do that? Andrew Yang explained how somebody else spend all this money, millions of dollars, about advertisement, and it don't do nothing for the people. It don't help the people at all. And he gave a perfect example how he explained that one of the people that he give $1,000 a month to is a person that have to take care of his mother, because his mother had cancer, and you know what I'm saying, under life circumstances he had to do what he had to do, which I could fully respect the person that did that. You know what I'm saying, my hats go out to him and his family and his mama, that she have a speedy recovery and everything goes well. But the good side about this, he was able to take care of his mama and then still achieve his passion as in being a musician, like he's back playing, like he was saying, black playing the guitar. And I love the example that he gave. Right, okay, just because you're getting $1,000 a month, that don't mean that, okay, well, I got to use this to pay bills. No, it's to help you be more free your mind and be more spiritually in tune with yourself, as in what you want to do. I have a video coming soon to show y'all how, if you're working for somebody else in the government assistance, and they talking about like everybody get a job guaranteed, the type of BS you will have to put up with. When you see this video, y'all will be like, oh, okay, I completely understand. So that was one thing that I'm noticing I could respect, that how Andrew Yang is going by, how he's marketing even if he don't become president, his marketing strategy still will be successful, simply for the fact he helped out American people in real life. So I always gonna give my hats out to Andrew Yang about that. And for all of my people that's listening with the black community, they notice things like that, because they're not easily fooled. They're more like, show me, don't just tell me. And Andrew Yang is actually putting his money where his mouth is. He taking his own money and he putting it back into the American people hand. So that right there was a 10 times positive for me when it comes to good publicity and doing the right thing, especially for the black community, and being on a black radio station and saying this and acknowledging it. And if you notice, everybody on 97.9, they're a part of the Yang Gang, and they asked some tough questions, and I could respect the questions that they asked that was tough, because like some people might have real curiosity about it. It ain't just about, oh, they just trying to find a little crack to penetrate inside the Andrew Yang's fortress. I mean, like Fort Knox. To me, he more like Fort Knox when it comes to just trying to tap at him to get some dirt or whatever like that, especially when it comes to what he trying to do for the community. Second of all, when they brought up the whole idea about Amazon and how could this resonate with the black community, when he was expressing how Amazon is not paying taxes. See, when people say taxes, and when you get your check every week or every other week or whenever you get your check, and you might make $20 an hour, but once you get your check, it only looks like you make $14 or $15 an hour because of all the taxes they take out of your check. And when you see a big garments company like Amazon that's like Pac-Man eating pebbles around every city, when you see something like that, and you like, okay, they don't pay no taxes because they found a loophole, and which you know that these loopholes exist strictly to help out the rich. And and with Amazon, you can't blame them for doing what they're supposed to do, but you have to blame our government for not doing what they supposed to do, as in watching out and looking out for the American people, was best for us. So when Andrew Yang was bringing that up and how he got that like in a big topic, and he brought it up like, okay, to the American people, if you haven't heard who he was and you black, you know what I'm saying, something like that will resonate to you and catch your attention, how he did the math and how he broke down, okay, with Amazon they might hire 10,000 people, but the places they closed around the areas that they'd hire 10,000 people, they might have killed 100,000 jobs, and pretty soon it's 10,000 gonna go down to 5,000. The way he brought that, everybody should see it straight clearly with clarity, and I gotta respect him for that. And like for the government let's go ahead and talk about the government programming, because when he spoke about that, a lot of people don't understand this whole concept. Well, okay, because they was never around a person that needed government assistance or was a part of government assistance. So that me personally, I have first-hand experience, and I see like a whole bunch of different examples. So this is one that resonate exactly what he's talking about. Okay, with family wise, he is a big component of family. Now, if a person, if they on what it is, housing Section 8. Now, when you're under Section 8, you have to go by certain rules and regulations to pay this amount. And from what I heard is like a lot of things is like, for example, you can't have a man. So if you have a man standing in the house with you that's helping with the kids or whatever your situation might be, you can get evicted out of your government assistance house out of Section 8. And that's simply, okay, that's to tear a family apart. So what incentive that would have for a woman to say, okay, you my husband or my baby daddy or whatever the scenario might be, why should I be with you? And it's a situation that I might lose my government assistance paying on the Section 8 house and stuff like that, which I would have to struggle again and start being with you. So a woman kind of say, instead of a man being her man, she looking at the government as being her man, that she's only restricted to be able to do certain things. But if a man say, hey, look, I want us to be together, but we got to do certain things, she gonna be looking at him like, oh, why should I do that? Because my husband government will take care of me, and if my husband government take care of me, the only thing I got to do is not have another man. So it's like a jealous man that the government being, because they don't want you to have a husband and prosper and being a family, and the kids seeing the wife and the husband being together so the child could get good representation. But if you're under Section 8, they trying to strip that representation from you. So when Andrew Yang was breaking that down, a person that's getting government assistance, even if they might be staying in a house, and let's say in the house where they're staying at is $700 and they're getting $300 in food stamps, right? Even though that's equal to the UBI, I really think most people will hop out of the government assistance for the equal, even if it's an equal amount, just to get $1,000 a month so they can spend it and do as they like. So if they want to put together and say, okay, well, this 700 that we was using for the house, I could use the house, and then I got my help from, let's say, my husband or my boyfriend or baby daddy or whatever the case might be, and he have $1,000 extra on top of that. So now your 1,000 became 2,000. So you being able to pay for a better place to stay in than where you were staying at first. And even if you decide to stay in the same location, you and your boyfriend or husband or significant other could live in the place together, and y'all can go half on the bills with the UBI money and still have money to get food and stuff like that. And speaking about food, a lot of people, when they get, let's say, $300, they'll sell the 300 for 200 like that. So now you're losing out on food stamps because you need cash money, so you're selling that for a less amount of money instead of getting $1,000 a month. So that's why I think the way government program is here is a fail. Now with that being said, the people that's rich, that has money, that might not even understand these situations, and they saying, why do they need $1,000 a month, right? And they don't. Everybody know, if you have money, you rich, you don't need $1,000 a month. It's not gonna change, make or break you in no fashion, no form ever. But I will say this here, they could do stuff like, okay, you get $1,000 a month, you could take your 1,000 and just and route it to some type of programming. Okay, you might get some cuts off of your taxes that way. Okay, you giving up your UBI to help out kids with special needs, clothing, whatever. I mean, the implementations can go on forever. So if you don't need the money, it simply could be saying you can use this to donate to charities of all different forms and fashion. So that should be an offset right there. If a person feel like, okay, I make over this tax bracket, if I take my UBI and trade it for government, not government assistance, for be able to help like anybody that needed, or Salvation Armies and stuff like that, I would get a tax cut off of my taxes once I pass this bracket of, making this amount of money. But if you make under this amount of money, it won't affect you. But if you decide to, it'll help you on your taxes. That's all it have to be to make a person, let's say, like a let me think who I know that's a multi-billionaire, or not no corporation, but like a independent person, like Jeff, I think his name Jeff Bezos, the one that owned Google, whatever his name is. But anyway, like somebody like him, he don't need $1,000 a month. He could just say, hey, he got 1,000, transfer it to charity. Bill Gates, he don't need 1,000. He could say, hey, I would like to use this here to help fund school books. Just take this $1,000 a month, and whatever he just wanted, just passion, he just say, hey, take this and go fund something like that. So that's what I think, that like more people with actual money and they could use a tax break. That'd be a good way of giving them a tax break. So you would have $1,000 a month coming from this person straight for books or clothes or whatever they decide to do. Now, with that one being said, they start asking tough questions. On Hot 97.9, they asked a couple of tough questions, and one of them is black reparations, right? So me personally, I'm in the boat where I'm not finna sit there and lie to myself like it's nowhere in the near future that we're gonna get black reparations. And nothing you really could do. I mean, to be honest, in this point of time, it's nothing that actually, truthfully, can really be done. Besides for the discussion and trying to figure out a way of doing it to make things balance, I guess, or whatever they would like to say about it. But the first step would be UBI, to get the balance, get the boot off of people's necks so they could stand up and actually see above all the dirt that's on the ground, and they could get some clean air and be able to see clearly that the rain is gone. You know what I'm saying? So that would be a good thing. But an example, I don't know if you here with me, you know that I like movies and comics and stuff like that. If you haven't seen this movie called The Watchmen, it's on HBO. Amazing series. I'm on episode 3 right now. I have discussions about it on this channel as well, so check it out if you would like to hear anything about Watchmen. If you're on the board, if you don't know if you want to watch it, is it worth watching? Should you purchase HBO because it's something that you might want to see? But but think about it, to me, I feel like it's the Game of Thrones replacement. Not killer, but replacement. You see what I'm saying? So it's one of those shows, and in the show they speak about if black people, it's like a what if. So it's like an alternate world reality type thing, but it have an element like of a what if black people would have got their reparations way back, and then it's all even. Well, blacks and whites and all different other nationalities is on an even playing field, and how would the world be differently in the case of a situation like that? It have its ups and it have its downs, but the show is actually worth a watch. So if you into those type of things, and it's actually a good drama series as well, so it got some good writing. And I think the girl that played Tootie off of 227, she grown now, but that was before my time, but she's grown now, and she plays an amazing role. The show don't feel like no SWJ, no other colors or letters and all this other type of stuff. No bigotry of like being strictly into a direction. It's just like giving it to the people raw, and you can accept it how you would like to accept it. But I ain't finna sit here and talk about like Watchmen and stuff like that. I came here strictly to talk about Andrew Yang on Hot 97. Man, the dude is something serious. I gotta give it to that boy Andrew Yang when it comes to like the thought patterns, like how he was speaking about schools and colleges and stuff like that. And he see the trend because he did the math. And if you notice, a lot of colleges is just exploiting our kids. Me, when I was a child trying to go through college and having to pay all this back, I just finished paying. They've been yanking my income taxes for the pay for colleges. And this was a year, a 2-year college that I'm still paying. I was paying for years later. So I understand if a person, is going to get these big super degrees and they having to take out these big loans that's going to take 10 years to pay for, compared to somebody that just go get a trade and making money and being able and take that same loan to go purchase a house. The whole concept of student loan forgiveness and how they built out Wall Street and these car corporations and stuff like that, how Andrew Yang is bringing that back to the light. Everybody seeing this firsthand, but the way the news directed it, it didn't give you the option to think about you had a choice in the situation. Nobody voted because we didn't think we had a choice. We just had to go with the flow, what they announced and said they was going to do. So that was our whole thing. We was like, well, why is they doing that? But hey, we don't have no choice. But Andrew Yang is opening up the light to everybody to see we have all the options. We just didn't know we had the options, and he there to show us the options and how we could do it. As in, for example, he got the democracy dollars. Genius way of putting our politics, because these big corporations is putting a foot over us to keep us down, to keep us stumbling, to keep us grinding, to keep us in the little circle running around making them money. They don't want to see you successful. But when Andrew Yang was saying, okay, look, they got the Republicans, they got the Democrats, and the whole thing is when he going up for office, you might have some left, you might have some right, and all of them have one thing in common. They have a big corporation that's funding them. So you have to do kickbacks. I know about mafias and gang life. Everybody know kickbacks is one of the most important things. They do you a favor, but they come back for a favor. It never ever was an episode or anything where they just gave somebody something. They say, I just want to see you successful, without saying I'll come back for my favor later on, or some type of way like that. So when I see something like that, that's the first thing that goes through my mind. They talking a good game, they want to do good, they gonna try to do good, they hop in the mud and they think they're not gonna get dirty. That's the thing. Andrew Yang is not in the mud. He's taking small donations, and the people are speaking, and that's a good thing. Way we keep speaking, because I'm a person though, the bigger your numbers get, the more people start paying attention to. And when they start paying attention to you, the more people start getting enticed to what you have going on. So that's one of those things I love to see. And but Hot 97, they gave Andrew a couple of tough questions. When I say tough, I don't mean like, you know what I'm saying, gritty tough. I mean like grind down all the way to the metal tough. And it was like tasteful tough. So I could respect it 100,000%. Whatever they want to speak about. But they was talking about Donald Trump's impeachment. Now, me personally, I feel the exact same way as Andrew Yang. I know better. And he know better. He know one thing. You talk about Donald Trump and it's impeachment, it's gonna get a lot of news. It's gonna be a wildfire, and it's gonna be a stream that plays the right in the hand of Donald Trump. He with the blend. That's what fuels his fire. So Andrew Yang knows, okay, some things is some people don't understand. Well, when you see a fire, people automatically think put water on the fire to put it out. And that's what a lot of people say. Impeachment is the water. But Andrew Yang saying to put out this fire is not water. It's the math is you take the oxygen out of the fire, and that will execute the flame. And what Andrew Yang saying, the oxygen to Donald Trump's fire is speaking about the impeachment, speaking his name, saying this and saying that about him. Negative, positive, whatever you saying, as long as you saying Trump's name, he's winning. And Andrew Yang had brought that to everybody's attention. Now, the tough question is, if Andrew Yang become president, then what would you do with Donald Trump? And he was trying to say, okay, well, it's nothing he really can do at this time. It's one of those situations where the police gonna have to step in, and the FBI gonna have to step in. It's gonna have to be more information. But from where it stands right now, let's be honest, when you have money, you have power, and the more money and the more power you have, the more exempt you become. Some people feel like they're so exempt that they can get away with anything. R. Kelly, perfect example. So once they finally catch him down bad, they will get him. But until that day, I'll be just like Andrew Yang. I don't want to try to take somebody to prison when I don't have the correct information to completely execute him. If I can't do that, then what we doing? Just time wasting, running behind somebody that have a whole bunch of empty open doors that have people going look in, and he's nowhere to be found. That's why when they was asking him this question, they was kind of mad about Andrew Yang, about him saying that he wasn't with the impeachment of Donald Trump, or he's with the impeachment, but he's not with the pursuer of that. His pursuer is to get Donald Trump out of office and let's fix what we have going on. Even though like they were saying on Hot 97 that might be a bad example of saying that a person with money is above the law, which I could kind of understand. But ain't nobody talking about when Donald Trump said when he was going for president, when he won, Hillary Clinton lock her up, take her to jail, all this stuff here, and all of a sudden that disappeared. Because be honest with ourselves, we know under the circumstances and situations that it don't work for poor people the same way it worked for rich people. And Andrew Yang brought that up. He said, think about it. You get penalized for being poor. Simple. Like if you go to jail, you gotta stay in jail, be locked up in jail because you cannot afford a bond. See, that's the effect poor people. I mean, a rich person with millions of dollars, let's say his bond $10,000, and he could drop the $10,000 and like it ain't nothing, get out. A person that's poor, his bond $10,000, his whole family have to get together. Now your whole family line to drop down in status to try to help you get out of jail. Let's say if you did or didn't do it, whatever the case scenario might be. So I understand the whole fact of that, and with him with the democracy dollars and being able to put it into the people's hand, so now the people can make the rules and regulations instead of these satellite counts for these prisons and prison people over silly small crimes for years, so they can get free labor, as in these marijuana charges. When Andrew Yang become president, and he legalized marijuana all around the United States, and he released all of these small convicted felons who in actuality is nothing more than entrepreneurs. I mean, just think about it. If you have ever been to a corner store, a store that's on the counter, what do they sell you? 90% of the time is either junk or drugs. Nothing more, nothing less. What I mean by that, cigarettes, bills, BC powders, or if you go to the gas pump, get some gas, or you might get some candy. 90% of the stuff that they sell are lottery tickets. So when you spend money on bet money, that is a corner store. So that's exactly what the people that's in prison for is trying to be, small entrepreneurs. And I'd have said it once, I'd have said it twice. If you go back on some of my previous videos, I said they say black people is lazy, don't want to work. No, they just don't want to work for somebody. They want to work for themselves. And the most representation that they have in a poor black community is people that's selling drugs. Now, they had better representations. You'll see a person, let's say if he had a car dealership and he pulled up in the hood, and one day he in a Lexus, next day he in a Benz, next day he in a Cadillac, and this the representation they see. You're like, oh man, if I be a car salesman, I could keep getting different types of cars, beautiful cars and stuff like that. The better representation a person receive, the better results they will come with. So if you see representations of lawyers and doctors and stuff like that, this is what you see. So your options are more open because it's something that you see day to day. Now, a person with less options, they only see what they see. So their options of knowledge is based on that. Some stuff like it's kind of far away. Some stuff like it's kind of far-fetched. Last, but well, not last, but I got two more things I want to bring out about, you know what I'm saying, when he was speaking about Tulsi. You know what I'm saying, I like Tulsi as well, and she actually is a good person. And the whole Hillary Clinton thing, and how they was asking Andrew Yang about it, and he kind of was like, you know, Tulsi's a good person, that's a bad thing that they trying to do stuff like that. See, genuinely, he's a good person, and I could respect Andrew Yang for that. And he knows she's a good person. I respect her too. There's a lot of the candidates that's up there that means well. Some things that you see that they're doing that you're a little iffy about it, but in the overall perspective, everybody want to do what's right for the American people in the overall sense. And you know, with Andrew Yang, he have fun, and he let you know that he's a regular person. He's down to earth. He has a family. He's in the trenches with us. So that's why Andrew Yang have just a little, he in the trenches with us for the 21st century. Bernie Sanders been in the trenches with us. You know, I got to give him a shout out as well. But when it comes to the 21st century, what we need is more innovative and younger legs, and that will be Andrew Yang. And because he could talk about the stuff that most of these candidates has zero knowledge about. And other thing, when they speak about climate control, that's one of those simple, not simple, but situations that have to be looked at. But it's hard to look at a different situation when you having all these other obstacles right in front of your face. So when they say, okay, California, what the wildfires, fires, what they can do is, like, every so often just have like a job, or create a job where they have people that fill up these tankers and they shipping water to the forests, and it just kind of like mist over the forests every so often. Or they have planes and they just drop mists of water. Let's say if it don't rain in 7 to 10 days or 14 days, then they have like a week of just dropping water across the forest, but put it high enough where it just kind of mist down like rain. Just simple stuff like that will help the environment. Simple stuff that we could be doing to help the globe as and become more efficient. Like, as an example, like, we could be trying to find ways to get off of fossil fuel. Everybody know the only reason why we still on fossil fuel because it's a quadrillion-dollar corporation. All of them together is up there. But anyway, though, that's just my thoughts of Andrew Yang on Hot 97. Did he reach the black vote? And actually, he did an amazing job. So the black folks that's watching Hot 97, they would be more intrigued to start looking up Andrew Yang on YouTube. And I like the way he said, yeah, just check me out. All you gotta do is type in Andrew Yang. And I'm sorry for anybody else's name, Andrew Yang or Andrew Wayne. You know what I'm saying? That's how he was coming. But that was a cool thing. And one tough question I would have loved to ask Andrew. One of these, when I get an opportunity to meet Andrew Yang, the question I would like to ask him is, can you jump in or jump out of the UBI? So if you get government assistance and you're like, well, I'm getting government assistance about this amount of money, but the UBI look more appealing. But once you jump over into UBI, is the government assistance forever gone? Or is it going to be a certain wait period? Or if you want to hop back into government assistance because UBI wasn't working, or you could just hop back and forth month to month. Well, this your boy Triple Cup Chuck. I appreciate you for rocking with me. I know the video had a little length to it, but I had a lot going on, man. The Hot 97 interview was amazing. You know what I'm saying? 2 thumbs up. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying, in the year 2020, we'll be hollering Andrew Yang president. But I'm out. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Later.